Washington says it destroyed 16 Iranian mine-laying vessels near the Strait of Hormuz after Tehran threatened to block oil exports via the waterway.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has called Israel's new West Bank settlement initiative a big mistake, urging a halt to what he describes as annexation moves. Volkswagen has announced 50,000 job cuts in Germany by 2030 as the carmaker's profits collapsed by nearly half, hitting their lowest level since 2016.
The U.S. says it has destroyed 16 Iranian mine-laying vessels near the Strait of Hormuz after Iran threatened to block oil exports from the waterway responsible for a fifth of global energy transports. Earlier, U.S. President Donald Trump warned Tehran of unprecedented intense attacks if it moved to restrict the strait to further destabilize global energy markets, which have already experienced volatility during the war. On Tuesday, senior Iranian lawmakers warned that the Strait of Hormuz will either be a strait of peace and prosperity for all, or a, quote, strait of punishment for warmongers. Washington's attacks late on Tuesday closed out day 11 of the war, which many, including residents of Tehran, have described as the most intense day yet. The Israeli army throughout the day targeted multiple locations across the Persian nation as it looks to eliminate the country's offensive posture. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will continue to strike Iran for as long as necessary until it no longer poses a threat to his country. The IDF is also continuing to carry out wide-scale operations across neighboring Lebanon on targets it claims are linked to the Iran-backed Hezbollah group. Tehran is continuing to retaliate, with Tuesday seeing multiple barrages of drones and missiles fired at Israel and neighboring Gulf states hosting U.S. bases. Many in the region, including Qatar, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait, reported attacks, which they say were intercepted. Air raid sirens also consistently sounded across multiple Israeli cities, including Tel Aviv, with the IDF reporting steady streams of incoming Iranian fire throughout the day.
Israel has launched a new wave of strikes on Hezbollah targets in Beirut, with explosions rocking the southern suburbs of the Lebanese capital. However, a separate strike has also hit the densely populated Aisha Bakar area in central Beirut, coming entirely without warning. Videos circulating online show 2 floors of a multi-story building completely engulfed in flames. There are no immediate reports regarding the intended target or the extent of the casualties. The central strike zone is located close to Dar al-Fatwa, the country's highest Sunni authority, and sits far from the southern suburbs, where the Israeli military had previously issued evacuation warnings. Families fleeing the bombardment trying to find shelter as the wider effects of the US-Israel war on Iran continue to shake the region. Lebanese authorities confirmed that over 667,000 people have now registered on the government's displacement platform, marking a staggering surge of 100,000 refugees in just one day.
Differences in how you evaluate that, but the numbers.
United States Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth told reporters on Tuesday that the will of the U.S. to fight Iran was endless, but he insisted the war won't be protracted. The day before, President Donald Trump said he expected the war to end very soon, but provided no timeline, contradicting an earlier statement it would last 4 to 5 weeks.
And from the beginning, from this podium, we haven't stated how long it will take. Our will is endless. Ultimately, the president gets to determine the end state of those objectives, right? But what he's said continually, and I want the American people to understand, is this is not endless. It's not protracted. We're not allowing mission creep.
In the meantime, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz shared concerns about an apparent lack of plans for the end of the war in Iran.
Die Vereinigten Staaten und Israel führen seit über einer Woche einen Krieg gegen den Iran. Viele dieser Ziele teilen wir, doch mit jedem Kriegstag stellen sich mehr Fragen. Vor allem besorgt uns, dass es offensichtlich keinen gemeinsamen Plan gibt, wie dieser Krieg schnell zu einem überzeugenden Ende gebracht werden kann.
Americans are divided along party lines on U.S. military action against Iran, according to polls. Most polls show opposition is higher than support. A UK warship left port in southern England and headed to the eastern Mediterranean to bolster British defences in the region amid the US-Israeli war with Iran, the Royal Navy said. The HMS Dragon's departure from its base in Portsmouth follows criticism for a perceived slow reaction to a drone attack on Britain's Akrotiri base in Cyprus on the 1st of March. The ship is capable of shooting down drones and ballistic missiles fired by Iran as Iranian attacks continue to target British interests in the region, the Royal Navy said. In the past week, the UK has deployed additional helicopters to Cyprus and Typhoon jets to Qatar. It has also begun defensive missions in support of the United Arab Emirates. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has said that the United Kingdom will not join offensive action in the Iran war.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has called Israel's new West Bank settlement initiative a big mistake, urging the Israeli government to halt what he described as annexation moves. The so-called E1 project was greenlit last August, paving the way for 3,400 housing units across a 12-square-kilometer area to the east of Jerusalem. Building on his past opposition to the settlements, Merz used his Berlin address to call for a joint European message on the subject. He confirmed that Foreign Minister Johann Wedtpool is to emphasize this stance during his visit to Israel. The plan has drawn widespread international condemnation, with the UN spokesman warning it poses an existential threat to a contiguous Palestinian state. An Israeli settlement watchdog has also denounced the recent publication of a construction tender for the E1 area. Driven by the approval of 19 new settlements in December 2025, Israeli expansion has reached its highest level since 2017, a surge that far-right Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich openly stated is aimed at preventing a Palestinian state. Citizens in Greece are experiencing the consequences of a war that, at least on maps, seems far away from their country. From the first day of the attack on Iran, prices at Greek gas stations began to rise. Gasoline, diesel and LPG have seen average increases of around 10%, forcing many drivers to consider limiting their travel.
Στο δικό μου πηγαίνω σχεδόν κάθε δεύτερη μέρα. Από 1,60 που ήταν την προηγούμενη εβδομάδα έχει πάει γύρω στα 1,90. Δεν δικαιολογείται με τόσο γρήγορη αύξηση. Εγώ 30 χρόνια επαγγελματίας, τόσο γρήγορη αύξηση δεν έχω ξαναπετύχει.
Η αύξηση περίπου στα 20%. Γιατί βάζω συνέχεια από το ίδιο βενζινάδικο. Συγκεκριμένο, έβαλα χθες, είχε διαφορά.
Ο κόσμος δεν έχει λεφτά να βάλει καύσιμα. Βάζουν λίγα για να κάνουν δουλειές, για να πάνε στις δουλειές, να γυρνάνε πίσω. Αυτές τις τιμές εμείς τόσο χρόνια, εγώ που είμαι σε αυτό το βενζινάδικο, δεν είχαμε ποτέ.
The surge in fuel prices came at a time when Greek citizens are facing persistently high inflation, significantly higher than the European average. People are considering a change to their daily routine.
Να πηγαίνω με ποδήλατο στη δουλειά.
Να είμαστε λίγο πιο σφιχτοί από την μια πλευρά, από την άλλη είναι ότι θα εξομαλυνθούν σιγά σιγά.
Ακόμα και λίγα λεπτά αύξηση στην τιμή της βενζίνης επηρεάζει άμεσα την τσέπη εκατομμυρίων Ελλήνων, καθώς οι περισσότεροι μετακινούνται με τα ιδιωτικά τους οχήματα τόσο για τη δουλειά όσο και για τις υπόλοιπες υποχρεώσεις τους. Και σε εθνικό επίπεδο πάντως η Ελλάδα παραμένει υψηλά εξαρτημένη από τις εισαγωγές ορυκτών καυσίμων από τρίτες χώρες. Μάλιστα η Ελλάδα ήταν η μοναδική χώρα της Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης που την περίοδο 2024-2025 αύξησε την κατανάλωση φυσικού αερίου, και αυτό παρά την σημαντική ανάπτυξη των ανανεώσιμων πηγών ενέργειας.
Six people were killed and 37 injured in a Ukrainian missile attack on Russia's Bryansk region, according to local authorities. The attack reportedly targeted a plant that produces electronic parts for various weapon systems and military equipment.
Цей завод робив електроніку, комплектуючі для російських ракет. Саме тих, які б'ють по наших містах, по наших селах, по цивільних. Ми захищаємось. Росія давно має змогу закінчити цю війну, яку сама ж і почала.
The Ukrainian military said it used British-made Storm Shadow cruise missiles to hit the target. Meanwhile, Russia launched over 100 drones at Ukraine overnight, targeting 4 cities and killing at least 4 people.
The European Parliament will vote soon on a law aiming to increase returns of irregular migrants through controversial deportation centres outside the EU with detentions of up to 2 years. The Parliament's Committee on Civil Liberties, Justice and Home Affairs approved on Monday a version of the text supported by the centre-right, right-wing and far-right groups, breaking the traditional centrist majority. The committee vote confirmed the trend of the European People's Party, EPP, siding with the right-wing European Conservatives on all files related to migration. The return regulation was proposed by the European Commission in March 2025 and endorsed by the Member States last December. The Parliament's text does not include a provision asked for by EU countries that would have allowed authorities to search the place of residence or, quote, other relevant places where a third country national, subject to an expulsion order, might be found. Left-side groups of the Parliament announced their opposition to the bill, and civil rights campaigners are hoping to convince enough MEPs to reject the bill in the plenary.
A bus fire has killed at least 6 people and injured several others in the Swiss town of Kerzers on Tuesday. The cause of the fire is not yet known, but investigation is underway to determine whether it was a deliberate act after an eyewitness indicated as much. A man inside the bus poured out petrol and set himself alight, a witness claimed in a video shared with Swiss media. Authorities said panicked passengers were seen escaping the burning vehicle. Police have opened a criminal investigation and appealed for witnesses to come forward.